This is my presentation on Nigeria, British colonization. So this is a map of Nigeria, and the British would come to the south to invade Nigeria. Indigenous people of Nigeria, and who are they? During the pre-colonial era, Nigeria was dominated by some of the most potent and influential Western African kingdoms, such as the Oyo Empire. Hausa Fulani, which is located in the north. They organized into Islamic emirates with centralized governments. And they also engaged in trans-Saharan trade and were known for leatherwork and metal crafts. The Yoruba, which is in the southwest, developed powerful kingdoms like Oyo and Ife, and had advanced political structures and rich artistic/religious traditions. The Igbo, which is in the southeast, practice a decentralized system with councils and age grades, and they are known for their republican governance, agriculture, and spiritual centers. Religion/economy. The Hausa Fulani practice Islam, which shaped their laws, education, and leadership. Mosques and Islamic schools were central to society. The Yoruba and Igbo, they followed traditional religions with a belief in a supreme god, ancestral spirits, and numerous deities. Agriculture was the bedrock of Nigerian economy during the colonial era. It provided food, employment, and foreign exchange through exports like cocoa, groundnuts, palm oil, and cotton. And even until the 1970s, agriculture remained the mainstay of the Nigerian economy. Social hierarchy and nomadic lifestyle. British officials held the highest power and made all the key decisions. Traditional rulers such as chiefs, emirs, and warrant chiefs enforced colonial policies. Educated elites gained influence through Western education and became early nationalists. And lastly, the common people had little political power and mostly worked as farmers, laborers, or traders. The Fulani tribe in northern Nigeria practiced moving cattle. The British tried to control nomadic movement through policies like grazing reserves, aiming to manage land use. And then nomads often clashed with settled farmers over land, which is a conflict that still exists today. European and British arrival. At first, in the 11th century, small African kingdoms ruled the region. Then, in 1472, Portuguese mariners reached the Nigerian coast, and they were the first Europeans. In the 1850s, British invaded Lagos, which is in southern Nigeria. Then in 1900s, the British Empire creates southern and northern Nigeria protectorates. 1914, the North and South formally unite as one protectorate. In 1922 to 1940, nationalist movement gains momentum. In 1954, Nigeria becomes autonomous federation under empire. In 1957, Abu Bakar Tafawa Balewa becomes the first prime minister. Then in 1958, British finally agrees to Nigerian independence. In October 1, 1960, Nigeria becomes a sovereign state. Motives for colonization. The British wanted products like palm oil and palm kernel, and export trade in tin, cotton, cocoa, groundnuts, and palm oil. Colonizing Nigeria helped Britain secure key trade routes and strengthen its influence in West Africa. The British claimed they were bringing civilization, including Western education, Christianity, and governance systems, to the local population. Justification for colonization. The British claimed to bring Western education and thought that it would be better for the Nigerians. They also used traditional rulers to enforce colonial policies while maintaining control, and this is an example of indirect rule. They organized society to extract resources and labor for British economic interests. Approach to rule. The British incorporated the divide and rule policy over the colonization of Nigeria. They used this policy for most of their colonizations, such as in India. This policy refers to the practice of gaining and maintaining political or social power by using divisive measures. The British also incorporated an indirect rule approach to gain power. In 1906, the British merged the small Lagos Company, which is this flag, and the Southern Nigeria Protectorate, which is this flag at the bottom, into a new colony of Southern Nigeria. Lagos Colony was a British colonial possession centered in southern Nigeria. Culture and social impacts. They introduced Western education mostly in the South, and this created disputes from the North to the South. They made English the official language, reducing the use of indigenous languages. They spread Christianity in the South, while the North remained Islamic, which deepened religious divides. They disrupted leadership by appointing their own rulers, which weakened governance and culture. Economic impact. During the colonial era, the British extracted key resources from Nigeria like palm oil, cocoa, and groundnuts. To move these goods, they built railways, ports, and roads mainly to service their export needs, not local development. These projects helped expand markets for Nigerian produce, but they also shifted farming towards cash crops, often at the expense of local food supply. In the end, the colonial economy was designed to benefit Britain far more than Nigerians. Key figures. Herbert Macaulay. He founded the first political party in Nigeria called the NNDP in 1923. He was a fierce critic of British colonial policies. Nnamdi Azikiwe. He co-founded the NCNC, which is a major nationalist party. He became Nigeria's first president after independence. Obafemi Awolowo. He founded the Action Group Party, and he also championed free primary education in the West. Ahmadu Bello. He led the Northern People's Congress, which is called the NPC. He also advocated for Northern autonomy within a united Nigeria. Key events. In 1861, the British officially took control of Lagos, marking the start of formal colonial rule in Nigeria. In 1885, European powers, which include Britain, divide Africa. Britain claims the Nigerian region. In 1900, Britain officially declares the northern and southern protectorates of Nigeria. In 1914, Lord Lugard unites the North and South into one colony called Nigeria. And in 1922, they allowed limited elections and helped spark early nationalist politics. Long-term consequences. Artificial borders cause ethnic and regional conflicts. Development focused on resource exports, creating economic imbalance. Economy relied heavily on export crops, increasing vulnerability. And then Western education and politics introduced, which caused cultural tensions. Thank you for listening to my presentation.